I am the CEO of BIOHM Health, and I'm going to talk about the 4 factors that actually doubled our CLV and really impacted a number of our metrics. So a little bit about me. I'm a biotech attorney by background. I founded and scaled multiple 8-figure award-winning businesses. I've launched my own products in about 27,000 retail stores here in the US, and I've licensed IP for products that are now sold in over 100,000 stores. And I'm going to be telling you about BIOHM, which I launched to really revolutionize probiotics based on the science of someone I'm very close to, my dad. And you can see some of the places I've either been featured or talked, and I'm trying something new. So that QR code is actually a link to my LinkedIn profile. So if you want to take a picture of that and connect, that would be awesome. And I've actually put it on all the slides. So if you want to connect and something resonates, feel free to reach out. So my business partner in my business is actually my father. So he's the scientist that named the microbiome, the fungal community in the body. And he's really like a world leader in the science behind our probiotics. I want to mention that because one of the things that oftentimes gets missed in discussion around digital marketing generally is that all the techniques in the world will not overcome a product that is not made on solid foundation. Is not a good product. So that's something that before we do any retention, any acquisition, all those things, we always make sure that the products we're actually building are really top of the line. And we've really been able to do that with BIOHM based on the science out of my father's lab. So a little bit about BIOHM. We sell probiotics and gut tests powered by real clinical science. We sell direct to consumer, Amazon, and increasingly retail. With thousands of monthly subscribers, we've actually have thousands of ambassadors that we've built as an organic army that generate about 6 figures in revenue a month for us. And we've really grown our retention over the last year to about 46% from 40%, which against the health industry averages is we're pretty excited about it. But one of the things, and this is actually how I got to know Valentine and Omniconvert generally, was that we were really struggling with, as acquisition costs were continuing to go up, we were seeing that we really had to look to see what we could do to improve not just our retention metrics, but just obviously the other metrics that really count, which is, sales and, other key metrics, while also keeping in control the amount we were spending on acquisition. And so when we took a step back, we really realized that we didn't really know much about our customer base at the end of the day. We couldn't answer how happy are our customers. We couldn't understand or really illustrate who our best customers were. We didn't understand why they were churning. And we really didn't understand the ones that loved the product, like why they kept coming back to buy again. And what we really realized was that if we were really going to grow the business, we had to get better at acquiring better customers. We had to get better at onboarding customers seamlessly. We had to do everything possible to lower our churn. And we really had to get good at reactivating old customers. And so the first thing we did, and I'm sure it's been talked a lot about it during the talk so far, or I'm sure it will if it hasn't, is we took a step back and really dug into the analysis through doing RFM analysis. And I won't talk too much about this because obviously this is going to be a topic, I'm sure, over the next couple of days that's going to be brought up a lot. But it's really the analysis of looking at which customers have bought most recently, which have bought most frequently, and who spent the most. And so we looked at who were our best customers, but we also looked at who our worst customers were. And honestly, the data was really eye-opening. So I won't delve into this, but again, really, if you're not doing RFM analysis, I highly, highly encourage you to do it. We were actually using a data scientist to do it manually at first. And that's how, when we found Reveal, it was great because it was able to do it automatically. So first, with our worst customers, what we found was 51% of our customers, they were generating only 36% of our revenue. And they really only ever bought on a promotion, and we weren't really making much money on them. So they'd buy once and they'd move on. And it cost us the same to acquire them as our best customer. And our best customers were 27% of our customers. They were generating 45% of the revenue. And they often never needed a coupon to actually buy. And they were, probably not surprisingly, way more profitable. So the second thing we did is, I joke about this, but we did something really novel, is we picked up the phone and we actually called our customers. And in D2C, one of the things that we sometimes almost hide behind the fact that we're an online business, and it starts to really remove that interpersonal connection. So by just picking up the phone, offering people like a Starbucks gift card to really tell us like why they love the brand, tell us a little bit about who they were, what struggles led them to probiotics generally, and then ultimately why they chose and stuck with BIOHM. It was so eye-opening. So what we did was jobs to be done research, where we really started to unpack not just about their feelings on the brand, but about the category, what problem they were trying to solve. And we ended up finding that our product actually did 4 jobs, one of which, the number one, was helping people feel normal again. These people were really struggling with digestive health issues. This was not someone who was just trying to live like their best life, like a health optimizer. These are people that it was a daily struggle, as simple as like their clothes not fitting well with their bloating, other people just being in pain. And so they had been looking at probiotics, a very big, confusing category, to try and figure out what they should do and what products they should consider. And what we found out is that it was a lot older of a demographic than we were actually targeting. And it really was just old people that didn't feel great. So initially, this is who we were really targeting, was this kind of like Instagram health optimizer, like the mom of school-age kids, someone who we thought of as the chief household health officer, when really this was who was actually buying the products. So that was beyond eye-opening to us, because it was just completely against what we thought our customer was. And the only reason we found that out wasn't in the data, wasn't, through some, interesting Shopify view. It was by picking up the phone and talking to these people. So that did a few things. One, it really led us to revisit our messaging to really focus on what these people actually were trying to solve for. So originally, and I'll play this, we had like a fun, branding, really hip, something you'd see on like an Instagram.
Called BIOHM.
And so we had all sorts of ads like this, and we thought these ads looked great. And even now, I think when I watch them again, they're really well done, but they were not converting at a really efficient basis. And so we tried different ambassadors, tried different views, and really didn't see much of a change in a result. But when we started looking at why people were using, we were seeing they were using it because, as I said, they felt awful and they just wanted to feel normal again. So we started launching ads with real people sharing how BIOHM had helped them get back to feeling normal. So you remember that sort of fun vibe of an ad that switched to an ad like this. You'll see.
Your BIOHM gut test kit, and the results absolutely changed my life. And my wife said, your next step is to go on the BIOHM regimen, the prebiotic and the probiotic. And I did, and it's been a year and a half, and I've been normal for a year and a half.
So you can see the completely different tone. Now, it doesn't mean we got rid of those other ads completely. Like it's also a demographic we want to attract. But you can see on this, we actually had audio of a real customer telling us how we essentially changed the guy's life. No fancy, music, none of that, just like raw footage, because someone who sees that ad who doesn't feel great is going to take that really, seriously. And then another thing we found was that people came to the brand because they really trusted my dad's credentials, and they really trusted that BIOHM was a science-based brand. A lot of these were trading out the mega brands they find at retail. And I'd say, well, why would you leave that? That's a very well-known brand. Why would you use BIOHM versus that brand? So, well, your dad's an incredible scientist. You have incredible science. And so we started launching ads really emphasizing the science part. So again, well done, but a lot more sort of serious, a lot more about the science. This is actually my dad walking through one of his labs. And you can, again, see if someone was looking to find a credible brand, that this would probably be attractive to them and they'd want to learn more about the brand. And so you can really see how very, empirically, we were taking those insights that we're learning from doing the research to find out about our customer and really implementing it and starting to see an impact. So, beyond that, we started to really do a number of other things to make it a better experience for customers. So, for example, we tightened the user experience. We really improved our loyalty program. We made a much better customer portal and an onboarding experience. And the other thing I'd say is this stuff takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. This was over probably a 6 to 12 month period over time. And again, we continue to just personalize. And it was no one thing that did it. So this slide, which I really like that Omniconvert puts together, is really showing you like the idea that it goes from really understanding where you're at and doing the analysis to buying into the research and really getting into the weeds and understanding who the customer is and all the things, and then actually implementing it. So again, it is an entire process, but it's something that it's like that saying death by 1,000 cuts. It's like optimization by 1,000 little moves, So what we started to see as far as results was, one, we saw our subscriber sales start to really jump. This was what our subscriber sales had been the previous 90 days. And we saw it really jump because Recharge could tell us what we would expect to see. We saw that our new loyalty system in the first 30 days after versus the 30 days previous, about 20,000 revenue. It was already 44,000. You can see all the other like metrics improving, like 4.6% participation rate versus 1.5. And we really saw our customer retention rate jump and comparative. And this is one thing I mentioned a couple of times on LinkedIn, but Omniconvert has really nice benchmark reports on their site. I really encourage you to take a look at them because I found that actually very useful as we're looking to have a really nice benchmark. So that this chart's out of that. And we saw a number of these other metrics that continue to grow, like chances of placing a next order. Industry average was 24%. We saw it go to 47 and just go up from there. And average day between transactions is about 50 days on average compared to industry of 113. This was a really cool stat that my team actually pulled the other day when I was asking them, is that we actually saw over a couple year period that our average orders per customer jumped significantly, like from 6.3 to 10.46, and they really lasted almost a year longer. That's where you really start making the money, because at the end of the day, you're spending the same to acquire a bad customer versus a good customer. So when you start seeing metrics like that, that's where things really add up. And this is really, really a cool slide because these metrics, they're all like pretty good. 15% revenue jump, 7% sessions, 36% retention rate. But here's what's wild. Those metrics went up while our ad spend went from about 120,000 a month to 40,000 a month. So those metrics went up while we spent 2/3 less on our acquisition budget. So that to us was how all of a sudden it really starts making a difference to your bottom line. And really, just to kind of pull it all back together, we really saw things start to change when we became very obsessive about understanding who our customer was and trying to attract the right customer. We got much better at onboarding and really personalizing the entire experience. And we really got much more aggressive about reactivating old customers. And by the way, some of those old customers might not be great customers, but I'll send someone a coupon to get one more sale out of them. So those were things that when we were really personalizing how we were approaching them, it started to make a big difference. And so that's covered a lot pretty quickly. But again, always happy to connect and chat. I know what it's like to go through the process of building a D2C brand. So with that, happy to answer any questions. I don't know if we have time for that, but figured I would ask.